And as I promised, I'm back with a build log. Well, not so much a build log, more as a video of the build. Hello and welcome to Hard On Hardware. And I'm gonna get pretty much straight into it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a breakdown of all of the parts that I used for Anna's PC back here. And then I'm gonna do some footage of it in its majesty. And from there, we're gonna do some benchmarks in a following video. So for the motherboard, we decided to go with the Gigabyte Z270 Gaming 5. The CPU is a 7600K from Intel. For the CPU cooler, we decided to go with the CryoRig H7, which is a good-looking cooler that performs really well for a reasonable price. I think it's quite a good alternative to the Cooler Master 212 Evo, but I'll do some more tests on that later. I'll do a separate video on the cooler itself. For the graphics card, we decided to go with the Palette GTX 1060. It's the 6GB Jetstream card. I'll do a separate video on that as well. As far as the memory goes, we're using some DOM plats, which are always exciting, although it will be going into my PC later and we'll substitute in something else. As far as the power supply goes, we decided to go with the Cooler Master RM550X, and the SSD is a Samsung 840 Evo. And with that out the way, it's time to have a look at the completed build. Get ready for some B-roll. All in all, I think the build went pretty well. As you can see, Anna's quite fond of light blue, and with the wonders of RGB, it means that you can kind of easily match all of the components. Even the graphics card has a bit of an RGB logo thing going, which is quite nice and even. As far as building the PC in the S340 goes, cable management was quite easy. But the case is quite small, which means it's sometimes quite difficult to get to things. And when you put the motherboard into the PC, it's a bit of a squeeze, especially when you already have the CPU cooler installed on the motherboard. And then it's really difficult to get the 8-pin CPU plug connected, because what happens is that there's this tiny bit of space between the top fan and the CPU cooler that you have to get your hands into, which actually led to quite a comical 30-minute long sequence of first me trying to I'm gonna get it in, and then Anna came and helped with her kind of skinnier hands, and she finally managed to get the plug in. But other than that, it's quite easy to build in, and it's quite easy to make it quite neat. I'll put a bit of B-roll in on how I actually kind of went about cable managing the back. As far as the actual cabling of the Corsair RM550 goes, it's quite nice in that it's not ketchup and mustard, and it not being a hugely expensive power supply, it's a great kind of add-on. But the GPU cable is not the prettiest. And the problem with this cable for the GTX 1060 is that the 1060 only needs a 6-pin, and then you get the 6+2-pin thing, which means that you somehow have to hide the +2 behind the GPU cable, or behind the rest of the cable. but it's still not the nicest looking solution, although this is quite easy to get around. All you do is you buy kind of like a sleeved extension of whatever color you want, and it'll look really nice. But as far as stock cables goes, it's not the greatest look. I hope you enjoyed the build. In the next video I'll upload kind of benchmarks to show how the PC does in gaming and other tasks. But it works really well for 1080p gaming, but we'll go through that in a bit. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.